It's finally beginning. As May 20th draws near, a rare and sacred movement is quietly unfolding above us, and though the skies are alive with meaning, most people remain unaware of the profound shift that's beginning to take shape. On the surface, it might just look like the sun changing signs, a seasonal marker, a typical astrological moment. But if you've been feeling a certain subtle hum in the atmosphere, a flicker in your thoughts, or a curious undercurrent in your everyday experiences, then you already know. This is not ordinary. This is a turning point. Right now, the sun is moving into Gemini, and while astrology marks this as the entrance into a new season of thought, communication, and connection, this particular passage feels different. There's a deeper frequency woven into it, a recalibration of something invisible, yet unmistakably real. You may not be able to name it or explain it clearly, but if you're sensitive to energy, you've likely been feeling the buzz. It's like something is moving beneath the surface of your life, rearranging patterns, preparing pathways, shifting you closer to something you may not have even known you were seeking. And here's the beautiful truth. The shift has already begun. In the days leading up to this celestial transition, many of us have felt off-kilter. The ordinary has started to feel strange. Conversations may have turned circular or strangely disconnected. You might have noticed odd coincidences stacking up, things that don't quite make logical sense, but feel undeniably significant. Maybe the same numbers keep appearing, or a word or phrase follows you like an echo. Perhaps people are speaking to you with mirrored language, unknowingly reflecting back things you've only just been thinking. These aren't random quirks of perception. They're signs, quiet signals, energy codes embedded in the fabric of your experience. And if you're starting to notice the pattern, then you're already within it. This isn't about predictions or forecasts. It's about awakening to a higher current moving through your life. Right now, your thoughts may be racing ahead of themselves. You might find that ideas come in flashes, too fast to catch. Your dreams may linger with more emotion and clarity. The air might feel charged with a kind of invisible electricity. You might be catching glimpses of something just beyond your awareness, like reality is shimmering at the edges. This is the multi-dimensional language of Gemini in motion. It's not just thoughts or intellect being activated. It's your perception of reality itself that's beginning to stretch and bend. You're not just thinking differently. You're receiving differently. Time might feel odd, slower in some moments, lightning fast in others. Even silence has taken on a strange texture, like it's carrying messages in the spaces between words. The background of your life, the part most people ignore, is suddenly speaking louder than ever. And if you're hearing it, if you're sensing it, then you're already attuned. This is more than a shift in the zodiac. It's a realignment of your inner compass. You may have already begun to feel like your life is rearranging itself, like something unseen is guiding you, softly but unmistakably. And the truth is, it is. Gemini energy is about more than words. It's about mirrors, reflections, timelines that intertwine, versions of yourself that begin to show up in dreams, in thoughts, in sudden memories or impulses. This is the season where consciousness begins to braid itself into new forms, where truth becomes more fluid, more multidimensional. That's why things may not feel solid or linear right now. The energy doesn't move forward in a straight line. It moves in echoes. It weaves sideways. It loops back. It speaks through synchronicity. You may have heard a strange sentence from two different people in two different places. You may have thought something only to hear it spoken aloud a moment later. Or maybe you've looked at a stranger and felt like you've known them forever. That's not coincidence. That's the veil thinning. This moment is an invitation to step beyond the surface of life and into the realm where the soul speaks fluently. And that language? It's symbolic. It's energetic. It moves faster than the speed of logic. You might receive sudden downloads, intuitive hits that come out of nowhere, but land with the weight of truth. You might start understanding things you've never studied. You may even begin to feel as though you're living slightly ahead of the timeline, sensing events before they happen, knowing things you have no way of logically knowing. This isn't fantasy. It's resonance. Your awareness is expanding beyond linear comprehension. And yes, it can be overwhelming. Gemini governs the nervous system, and as the sun enters this sign, your body becomes a conductor. You may feel restlessness, buzzing in your hands or spine, a heightened sensitivity to sound or light. You might feel emotions surging without cause, or thoughts racing so fast you can barely keep up. But don't panic. You're not malfunctioning. You're upgrading. Your entire being is recalibrating to hold more light, more information, more dimensional awareness. This can be disorienting, especially if you try to make sense of it through old patterns. The mind wants to control, to label, to explain. But Gemini doesn't follow those rules. It moves through wonder, through curiosity, through the openness of the beginner's mind. This is a season of asking better questions, not clinging to outdated answers. And right now, your soul is asking you to stay open, stay soft, and most of all, stay present. Because something is trying to reach you. Something new, something higher. And it won't come in a grand announcement or an obvious sign. It'll come in the little things. The book that falls open to the perfect page. The text from someone you were just thinking about. The song lyric that cracks your heart open. These are the doors. These are the entry points into a deeper relationship with your intuition, your purpose, and your multidimensional self. But here's the thing. This isn't for everyone. Not everyone will see the signs. Not everyone will feel the codes or understand the shifts. Some will stay on the surface, caught in distraction or noise. But if you're reading this, if these words feel like they're speaking directly to something inside you, then you're already part of it. You've already been called. You've already been chosen, not by fate, but by your own soul. This transition is not here to test you. It's here to awaken you. The coming days offer a rare opportunity to step into deeper alignment, not through effort, but through awareness. Pay attention to what repeats. Notice what feels familiar in a way that defies logic. Track the symbols that show up again and again. These are not accidents. They are communications. And if you listen closely, you'll find that the universe is not silent. It's singing to you constantly, repeating the melody until you finally hear it. This is the magic of Gemini season. It opens the gateways between worlds. And as the sun crosses into this airy, mercurial sign, you're being given a chance to tap into the intelligence of the universe itself. Not the kind of intelligence that lives in textbooks or data, but the sacred knowing that lives in dreams, in synchronicity, in soul resonance. It's the kind of intelligence that speaks in symbols and feelings, that bypasses language and goes straight to the heart. You don't need to understand it all to participate. You don't need to have all the answers. All you need to do is stay aware, stay curious. Let go of the need to make sense of every sensation. Let yourself feel instead of analyze. Let yourself drift with the rhythms instead of resisting them. This is your invitation to dance with the unknown, to open your heart to the messages arriving from the other side of logic, to trust your inner compass, even when the outer world looks the same. Because soon, it won't be. Soon, the changes you've been sensing will start to materialize. You'll see things move faster. Ideas will manifest quicker. Conversations will become catalysts. And everything that felt like strange coincidence will suddenly feel like perfect design. So if you've been feeling restless, charged, emotional, or unsure, know that you are not alone. You are not lost. You are in the middle of a sacred unfolding. Something ancient and cosmic is stirring within you, and it's not asking you to understand it. It's simply asking you to receive it. Let yourself receive. Let the signs guide you. Let the whispers of Gemini remind you that life isn't linear, that truth isn't singular, and that your path doesn't have to make perfect sense to be perfectly aligned. Before we continue, if this message is speaking to your soul, I invite you to take a moment, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave the number 777 in the comments. Share this with someone you care about, someone who might be quietly sensing the same shifts but doesn't have the words for it yet. Help them find their way into this current of transformation. Because this is just the beginning, and as the energy continues to rise, as the veils continue to thin, you'll start to see how beautifully orchestrated it all really is. You'll understand that what you're moving through isn't chaos, it's creation. And you, beloved soul, are being invited to become a conscious co-creator within it. As the sun moves into Gemini, a portal opens, not just in the sky, but within your mind and heart. This moment marks more than a seasonal shift. It's the turning of an internal key, unlocking a part of you that's been waiting silently to be seen, to be felt, and finally, to be heard. You may have already noticed it. Subtle, quiet, but persistent. A phrase repeating in your mind that didn't seem to originate from your own thoughts. Words arriving as if from nowhere. Conversations replaying in your dreams with uncanny clarity. Or a lingering feeling after waking up that feels like you spoke with someone deeply important, though you don't recall their face. These aren't accidents. They're signals. Signs that your inner communication channels are opening, tuning to a higher frequency that doesn't rely on logic or language in the traditional sense. This is soul speak, a sacred form of dialogue that transcends time and physical space. In this Gemini season, the air becomes charged with thought, restless, curious, alive. But it's not just the kind of mental activity that spins in circles. This is awakening energy. It's as if the universe is whispering through the breeze, gently calling your mind to open, to stretch, to evolve. For many, this shift might go unnoticed. They'll feel the usual change of season, a new mood in the air, a fleeting curiosity. But for those who are attuned, for you, this goes far deeper. You've already felt the movement stirring beneath the surface of your awareness. Perhaps you couldn't name it. Perhaps it showed up as tiredness, a strange emotional sensitivity, or recurring words or ideas that seemed to follow you wherever you turned. This isn't a glitch in the matrix. It's the matrix itself reshaping. The energy now moving through you is intelligent, intentional, and deeply personal. It doesn't communicate in the straightforward ways you might be used to. Instead, it speaks through resonance. A word you read that echoes within you all day. A lyric in a song that unlocks tears. A memory so sudden and vivid that it feels as though you're living it again. These are not random. They're invitations, each one asking you to pay attention to what's underneath, what's within, what's beyond. Gemini energy doesn't simply bring thoughts, it brings revelations. The fog that once clouded your understanding begins to lift, and in its place comes clarity. Not just mental clarity, but spiritual insight. It stretches outward into how you perceive the world and inward into how you understand yourself. You may find yourself questioning old beliefs, reframing past experiences, or noticing how easily new insights seem to flow to you. This isn't just cognitive stimulation, it's consciousness expanding. And what arrives in your mind now may not feel like ordinary thoughts. They may feel like transmissions, messages designed to find you at exactly this moment. You could be reading a book and find your eyes locking on a single sentence, as if it were written just for you. Or in conversation, you might feel the need to pause mid-sentence, and in that quiet moment, a whisper arrives. You may not hear it with your ears, but you feel it. That's the universe using language as a portal. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the messenger planet, and under this influence, words become more than just symbols. They become channels of divine energy. This is why you may start to experience mirrored patterns. Gemini, symbolized by the twins, speaks in dualities. You might notice repeated phrases from different people, recurring dreams, or serendipitous encounters with the same symbol in unrelated places. Pay attention. These are not tricks of the mind. They are synchronistic patterns meant to guide you, signs that the universe is speaking to you in a dialect you're just now remembering how to understand. It doesn't ask you to figure it all out right now. It asks you to be open, to stay receptive, to trust what doesn't always make immediate sense. These dualities serve as mirrors, not to confuse, but to unify. If you're seeing the same message in different ways, it's because your soul needs to absorb it from all angles. This process isn't about overthinking. It's about softening the borders between logic and intuition. You are beginning to realize that what you once dismissed as coincidence might actually be the most honest communication you've ever received. It's normal if your inner world feels busy now. Multiple thoughts happening at once, conflicting emotions rising, overlapping memories, and sudden flashes of insight. You are not losing focus. You're gaining multidimensional awareness. In Gemini's realm, your mind isn't supposed to be linear. It's meant to be a web, catching signals from all directions. You might find yourself saying one thing but thinking another, or feeling deeply drawn to something without understanding why. Let it be. Trust that this inner activity is aligning you with a faster, more refined vibration of consciousness. Where once you moved through thought in a straight line, now you are learning to spiral with it. This isn't mental chaos, it's expansion. You're being invited to hold more, to think in new ways, to allow opposites to coexist within you without needing to resolve them. This is the essence of Gemini's gift, the ability to hold light and shadow, known and unknown, logic and mystery, all at once. Memory may begin to behave differently too. Events from the past may feel fresh, almost alive again. You might be flooded with a moment from childhood, or sense a pull toward a place you've never been, or hear an unfamiliar voice that feels inexplicably close. These aren't mere recollections or fantasies. They're glimpses of your soul's timeline, a timeline that is more circular than linear. You're standing at the center of that circle now, where past, present, and future fold into one another like pages in a story being written in real time. You are not learning in the way you once did. You are remembering what your soul already knows. You might feel an urge to express yourself more than usual, through writing, speaking, journaling, or even talking to yourself in quiet moments. Let yourself follow that impulse. These moments are not random. They're the mind's way of processing and channeling new frequencies of awareness. Mercury's influence makes you a messenger, not just a receiver. The energy flowing through you is not just for you. It is meant to be shared, transformed, released. The words that come through you may one day reveal themselves to be far more profound than you understood at the time. So don't be afraid to jot down that sentence that appears in your mind out of nowhere. Don't dismiss the strange dream or the feeling that someone or something is trying to communicate with you from beyond the veil of ordinary reality. All of it matters. All of it is part of this awakening. And yes, misunderstandings may arise. Conversations may not flow as smoothly as you'd like. People may not seem to hear you, or the messages you send may get delayed or misinterpreted. But don't let this frustrate you. These aren't blocks, they're redirections. Communication now is not just verbal, it's energetic. You're being taught to listen beneath the words, to feel the energy behind them. This is intuitive communication, the soul's language, and you are learning to speak and understand it with increasing ease. You'll begin to notice that you don't need everything to be explained anymore. You'll start to feel truth, even when it's unspoken. You'll sense alignment or misalignment instantly. You'll trust a message not because it's logical, but because it resonates. This is the higher frequency of Gemini in action, a bridge between the mind and the heart, between the seen and the unseen, between thought and knowing. You are becoming a channel, a vessel for wisdom that doesn't originate in books or lectures, but rises from within you, from dreams, from the whispers of the cosmos, from the space between thoughts. This is not the time to retreat from your inner world. It is the time to dive in, to explore it, to play in it, to expand it. So as Gemini's air stirs your mind, let yourself be curious. Let yourself wonder. Let yourself remember. What's unfolding now isn't just mental activity, it's mental alchemy. The ideas you're receiving, the phrases you're repeating, the truths you're touching are seeds. Some will bloom now, others will take root and grow in the months ahead. But all of them are sacred. You are not just thinking. You are translating the language of the universe. Let it speak. Let it move through you. And above all, let it remind you. You are already in the conversation. You've always been. Now you're simply learning how to listen more deeply. Every voice you hear, every face you encounter, carries more than just a personality or presence. They carry a vibration. And now, more than ever, you're beginning to feel it. Not just as a vague sense or an occasional intuition, but as something real, tangible, and deeply embedded in your experience. You can sense the energy behind the words people speak. You feel the charge in their presence, the silent signals that rise beyond appearances. That's why certain people may leave you feeling exhausted, even if you only exchanged a few words. And others, seemingly without effort, can uplift you with just their smile or a glance. You're not just reacting to what people say anymore. You're responding to what they're transmitting, to their essence, to the frequency they carry. And this shift, this heightened sensitivity, is not just a new ability. It's an initiation. It's a sign that your inner world is awakening in ways it hasn't before. You're not just decoding language, you're reading energy. Your body, your intuition, your very soul has become attuned to a higher form of listening. This is the beginning of a new chapter in your spiritual evolution. The world around you might not visibly change at first, but something unmistakable is shifting within you. It's subtle, but it's steady. You might notice that your surroundings begin to reflect this change. Relationships evolve. Some people fade quietly from your life. Others arrive, seemingly out of nowhere, and immediately feel familiar, like soul connections returning after a long absence. These shifts are not coincidences. They are sacred alignments, perfectly orchestrated to match the energy you now hold. You are no longer who you were. You are remembering who you've always been. Gemini, the archetype of communication, now rises as a powerful guide in your life. But this isn't just about expressing yourself more clearly to others. This energy opens a much deeper channel, the one between you and your own soul. It's no longer about how well you speak, but how truthfully you listen, especially to the inner voice that's been whispering to you through dreams, through feelings, through the quiet moments you often overlook. That voice, which once seemed faint or fragmented, is now becoming more distinct, more trustworthy. It's not random thought. It's divine guidance in your own language. And when you really tune in, you start to realize that it was never separate from the universe. It is the universe, speaking through your being, aligning you with the truth of who you are. So when a word stirs something in your chest, when a phrase lingers in your mind, or when a memory unexpectedly returns and refuses to let go, pay attention. Don't dismiss it as a distraction. It is a message. These small echoes, these flickers of meaning, are the threads the universe is weaving into your consciousness. The veil between the visible and the invisible is lifting, and the language of the cosmos is becoming clearer. Gemini helps you translate what you're receiving. Not only are you hearing truths, you're embodying them. You're not just receiving the message anymore. You are the message. You are the living expression of divine communication unfolding through human experience. This isn't simply a change in season or a planetary transit. It's an entirely new way of knowing. It doesn't rely solely on logic, though logic can still play a part. This kind of knowing comes from the inside out. It's intuitive, it's emotional, it's spiritual, and in that knowing, life begins to make more sense. You're no longer trapped in the question of, why is this happening? Instead, you're guided into the realization that everything is unfolding with meaning. Your soul is stepping forward to show you who you truly are, not in the eyes of others, not through old roles or past definitions, but in your own sacred vision. That voice inside you, the one you've silenced or doubted for years, is waking up. It doesn't shout. It doesn't try to convince. It doesn't argue with the noise of the world. It simply speaks with unwavering clarity. A whisper at first, but a whisper so powerful it cuts through all the mental clutter. You start to notice that your thoughts are becoming more focused, more purposeful. Your emotions feel more vivid, more honest, more revealing. You're not just thinking anymore. You're channeling. You are becoming a vessel, a receiver, and a transmitter. Everything you touch now touches you back, reflecting and reshaping your experience of reality. These dreams you're having, they're not random. The feelings you can't shake, they're not illusions. The words that seem to chase you from book to post to conversation, they are not coincidences. Every single one is an invitation. You're being asked to look deeper, to stop bypassing your own soul. Gemini's energy is quick and mercurial, but it doesn't waste time. It delivers exactly what you're ready to receive, even if you don't feel ready, even if your mind resists. Because the truth is, something has already shifted. You are no longer asleep. You are beginning to see, to feel, and to remember in ways you haven't before. This odd stillness you've been sensing, It's not emptiness, it's spaciousness. A quiet place where something new can be born. The feeling of nothing isn't absence, it's potential. It's the fertile ground your soul needs to plant new seeds. And while your mind may still cling to the comfort of routine, your heart already knows. The melody has changed. You may not know the words yet, but the tune feels strangely familiar. It pulls at your spirit like an old song you haven't heard in years, a song you once knew by heart. It's calling you, not to a place, but to a state of being. When that call comes, fear is usually the first to answer. That's normal. The unknown always brings fear. But fear isn't a stop sign. It's simply the edge of what's familiar. It's the first doorway. And as you begin to see more clearly who you're not, you begin to understand more fully who you are. The roles you've played, the identities you've outgrown, the relationships that no longer nourish your becoming, they all begin to feel too small, too tight. And that's not judgment, that's growth. Letting go of what no longer aligns with your energy doesn't mean you're better than others. It means you've come into a greater clarity. You're simply no longer willing to shrink yourself to fit what used to feel comfortable. There's a quiet freedom in that. At first, it may feel like loneliness. You may hear people say, "You've changed." And they'd be right. You have. But it's not the kind of change that happens overnight. It's the kind that comes from deep remembering. Your soul is expanding into its next dimension. And not everyone can go there with you. Not everyone is meant to. That space you now feel around you, that distance between who you were and who you're becoming, it's not abandonment. It's sacred space. The solitude isn't punishment. It's a clear sign that you've chosen yourself. You've chosen to honor your own inner voice, even when the world around you doesn't yet understand. That choice, though sometimes difficult, is one of the most powerful declarations of love you can make. It's not selfish, it's self-honoring. And during this time, you might find the past rising up. Old memories, buried long ago, return with vivid detail. You may stumble upon a photograph or walk into a scent that pulls you instantly into another time. These echoes aren't here to haunt you. They're here to heal you, because you are no longer who you were. And from this higher vantage point, you can see the past not as a wound, but as a lesson. The clarity you now carry allows you to reframe those experiences, to see them not as mistakes, but as sacred milestones. Your awareness reshapes everything it touches. Amid all of this, there will be moments when your body just doesn't want to move, when your spirit feels heavy, when the outside world feels meaningless. That's not depression, that's not weakness, that's transformation in motion. Your soul is recalibrating. Rest isn't laziness, it's part of the process. Sacred rest is a form of receiving. Let yourself pause. Let yourself breathe without the need to produce or perform. Some of your most important shifts happen not in action, but in stillness. The caterpillar doesn't rush its transformation. It retreats. It trusts the process. So must you. Your dreams, too, may start to feel more alive. Faces you don't recognize but somehow know. Conversations that linger after you wake. Strange symbols, keys, doors, stairs, children, woven into your subconscious. These dreams are not to be dismissed. They are messages. Your soul speaks in symbols, not sentences. You are learning a sacred language, one that goes beyond words and dives straight into feeling, into knowing. Let yourself be curious. Even if you don't understand, trust the energy behind it. Your intuition will lead the way. Physically, you may notice changes too. Tiredness, sensitivity, a new relationship with food, with your environment, with your senses. The body is not separate from the soul. It is the soul's vessel. As your energy rises, your body must adapt. It's learning how to hold more light. Don't fight the process. Don't rush it. Nourish yourself with love. Choose foods that feel alive. Surround yourself with softness. Honor what your body is asking for. It knows what you need. It always has. Even the way you speak is changing. You may find yourself drawn to silence, or suddenly saying what you've long kept in. You sense the weight of your words now, their vibration. You feel when something is truth and when it's just noise. Small talk might drain you. Shallow interactions may feel unbearable. That's because your soul is craving depth. It wants meaning. It wants real. Time, too, is losing its grip. Hours blur. Days stretch or vanish. But it's not time that's changing. It's you. You're shifting into presence, into now. The future no longer holds fear. The past no longer holds you. You are here, awake, alive in this sacred moment. And yes, there may be grief, the grief of letting go, of saying goodbye to parts of yourself you once needed, of releasing connections that no longer feed your soul. But remember, grief is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of passage, of growth, of the sacred space being cleared for what's to come. New people will enter your life. Soul-aligned connections, unexpected encounters, words from a stranger that echo your own hidden thoughts, signs everywhere. You are attracting what reflects your new vibration. As within, so without. And when you feel like doing nothing at all, when the world feels too loud and your energy too fragile, know that it's okay to rest, to do nothing, to just be. In that stillness, something sacred is happening. You are returning to yourself, and in that return, everything begins. You are becoming more sensitive, yes, but also more powerful. You feel more, you know more. You hear beyond the words, you see beyond the surface. You are no longer satisfied with the superficial. You crave authenticity, soul, truth, and that longing is guiding you home. There are moments in life when something begins to shift, not just on the outside, but deep within. You may not be able to explain it, but you feel it in your bones, in your breath, in the way you see the world. There's a quiet but persistent urge rising up inside you, calling you back to something simpler, something more honest, something real. It's not just a desire for a cleaner space or a more organized life. It's a soul-deep craving for clarity, for truth, for lightness of being. You may find yourself standing in front of your wardrobe, looking at clothes that once felt like expressions of your identity, only to realize they no longer speak for you. You may feel an impulse to clear your shelves, to release old belongings that once felt comforting but now carry the weight of who you used to be. Even memories attached to physical things may start to loosen their grip. What once felt essential now feels excessive. What once represented comfort now feels like clutter. This is the power of simplification, not as an aesthetic trend, but as a sacred process of inner transformation. And this calling toward simplicity doesn't end with your environment. It echoes throughout every corner of your inner world. Your thoughts, once tangled in webs of overanalysis and external validation, start to untangle. Your emotional reactions, once quick and impulsive, begin to slow down. You pause more often. You breathe more consciously. You choose your words with greater care. You start to live not just reactively, but deliberately. A sense of spaciousness opens within you, not because your world has become smaller, but because your awareness has expanded. This is not an act of reduction, It's an act of return. You're coming back to your center, peeling away the layers of noise and distraction to rediscover the essence of who you truly are. You're learning that your truth doesn't live in the excess, in the hustle, in the striving. It lives in the stillness, in the presence, in the raw honesty of your soul. Of course, as with any sacred transformation, there are moments of fear. It's natural. When you begin letting go of the familiar, even when the familiar no longer serves you, it can feel like you're losing part of yourself. Identity, after all, is something we've been taught to build, to protect, to project. But here's the truth. What's falling away isn't the real you. It's the version of you that you built to survive, to belong, to be accepted. Now, you're being invited to go deeper, to remember the self beneath all those layers. This is not a loss. It is a shedding, a becoming. It may feel strange at first, this new way of being. You might not recognize yourself in the same way anymore, and that's okay. You're learning to see yourself not through the eyes of others, but through the quiet clarity of your inner knowing. You begin to care less about what others expect from you, and more about how you truly feel. You're stepping into the role of your own guide, letting your inner compass lead the way. That inner compass, once dimmed by doubt or ignored in favor of outside opinions, now becomes your greatest source of truth. And with that shift, something else happens. Your sensitivity increases, not as a weakness, but as a profound gift. You begin to notice beauty in places you once overlooked. A single leaf drifting to the ground can move you to tears. The warmth in a stranger's smile might fill your heart with gratitude. The rhythm of the wind, the flicker of a candle, the scent of the earth after rain. These once ordinary things now feel like sacred whispers from a universe that's always been speaking to you. You're no longer just existing. You're truly living, truly seeing, truly feeling. This heightened awareness brings a certain poetry into your life. Every moment feels more meaningful. The smallest experiences seem to hold the deepest truths. You're no longer chasing big milestones to feel alive. You're learning to find fulfillment in the now, in the breath, in the silence between thoughts, in the quiet knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be. As your awareness deepens, your physical body might begin to shift as well. You may notice changes in your energy levels, your appetite, your sensitivity to certain foods, sounds, or environments. Your skin might feel more reactive. Your weight might fluctuate. You might need more rest, or feel an urge to ground yourself in nature. These changes are not signs that something is wrong. They are signs that something sacred is awakening. Your spirit is integrating more fully into your physical form. Your body is adjusting to hold the frequency of your expanding consciousness. You might feel drawn to move your body differently, gently, intuitively, in a way that honors how you feel rather than how you look. You may find yourself placing your hand over your heart more often, speaking to yourself more kindly, listening to your body's wisdom instead of forcing it into systems of control. Your body becomes less of a battleground and more of a temple. You no longer feel the need to punish it, fix it, or mold it into someone else's ideal. You begin to revere it as the sacred vessel it truly is, a living, breathing bridge between earth and spirit. And then, as if in perfect alignment with your inner transformation, the outer world starts to reflect your shifts. The synchronicities become undeniable. You start noticing repeating numbers, meaningful coincidences, and subtle signs that speak directly to your heart. You'll hear a song lyric that answers your question. A stranger might say something that feels like a message. A random post might show up at the exact moment you needed it. These are not accidents. These are confirmations. The universe is communicating with you in the language of resonance. It's reminding you that you are never alone, that every step of your path is being lovingly guided. You begin to trust that even the challenges you faced, even the heartbreaks and losses, were not detours. They were doorways. Every moment, every experience, every feeling has carried a sacred purpose. Now you are becoming receptive to that purpose. You're learning to listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. You're beginning to see that everything is connected, that life is not random, but radiant with divine intelligence. And yes, this journey can feel disorienting at times. There are moments when you might feel lost, unsure, suspended between the old and the new. But that sense of being unanchored is not the end. It's the beginning of a deeper homecoming. When the outer map disappears, your inner light becomes your guide. You're no longer walking a path that was prescribed for you. You're carving your own, one breath, one truth at a time. You may not know exactly where this path leads, but you trust it anyway. Because now you understand. This is a journey of remembering, of returning, of realignment. You're remembering who you are beneath the stories. You're returning to the truth that's always lived inside you. And as you remember, you rise, not as someone new, but as someone real. And now, as the sun enters Gemini, a new chapter opens. This astrological transition brings with it a fresh wave of energy, light, curious, questioning. Gemini stirs the mind, encourages exploration, and awakens the voice of inquiry within you. But this time, your questions aren't about gaining more knowledge for the sake of knowledge. They're about touching something deeper. You're no longer looking for facts. You're searching for understanding, for connection, for meaning. This Gemini energy activates your mental space, but not in the way of overthinking or worry. Rather, it invites clarity. It encourages discernment. It helps you hear the inner voice that has waited so patiently beneath the noise of external influence. You may feel a stronger pull to journal, to write poetry, to speak your truth, to express what's been living unspoken in your soul. The words you once held back now want to flow freely, not to impress or perform, but to release and liberate. You may find yourself reflecting more deeply, not just about your life, but about your soul's path. You begin to explore the bigger questions. Who am I becoming? What is my truth? What am I here to offer? And even though you may not always find clear answers, you begin to understand that the questions themselves are sacred. They are doorways into greater awareness. They are invitations into communion with your deeper self. And here's a beautiful truth to remember. Not all wisdom comes in the form of words. Sometimes the deepest truths are felt, not spoken. Sometimes presence says more than speech ever could. Sometimes a single breath of stillness can carry more clarity than 1,000 thoughts. In this season of expression, honor your voice, but also honor the sacredness of silence. Both are needed. Both are powerful. Let this Gemini energy guide you, not just to speak, but to listen inwardly, to listen to others with an open heart, to listen to the spaces between the words. Let your curiosity lead you not outward, but inward, to the vast and infinite landscapes of your own consciousness. Let your thoughts expand, not to escape the present, but to dive more fully into it. You are in a beautiful and sacred unfolding. What you're experiencing is not an ending, it's a reawakening. And as you cross this new threshold, take heart. You are not alone. There are others walking this path with you, even if you never meet them. Souls awakening across the planet. Hearts choosing truth over comfort. Spirits remembering their light. Hold close the truths you've gathered. Let them anchor you. Let them soften you. Let them awaken you further. You are a vessel of transformation. You are both the question and the answer. You are the silence and the song. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to walk this path with courage and openness. If this message has spoken to your soul, consider sharing it with someone who may need a reminder of their light too. Until we meet again, keep tending to your soul with love, grace, and wonder. The universe is listening,